Netflix is in trouble. And no, not just for hiking prices more often than Ticketmaster does at Taylor Swift concert, or canceling half of our favorite series after a single season. And not because companies like Disney, Warner's, Paramount have all started competing services and either taken away high retention content like Friends, or at least provided an alternative place, sometimes even cheaper, to get it. And yes, not even for coming up with and having to almost instantly walk back the dumbest period, password sharing prevention period, scheme period, ever period, basically requiring us to log into our home Wi-Fi and validate every month like we're reporting to our Netflix parole officer or something, in the misguided hope that it would annoy enough college students into forking over for high-priced accounts of their very own. And I mean, what better time to be shredding every last ounce of customer goodwill that they had left faster than you could say Quickster, I guess. Wikipedia it. But then right now, where we're all paying for way more subscription services than ever before, it is just the biggest L strat imaginable to prompt any of us to look at our bills and consider canceling most of them just completely outright for even a split second, with Netflix likely at the top of almost every one of those lists. But no, not for any of those reasons, just for the reason that they've always been in trouble. The same reason that causes every rando analyst hungry for a clickbait headline to pop up like Van Gogh melting clockwork every few months to say Apple should buy them, should buy Netflix. Or, I guess, technically the exact opposite reason. Because typically those rando analysts cite the stone stump simple premise that Apple's TV Plus service lacks catalog content. See, on Netflix, after you watch Wednesday Dance, Dance, Dance with her hands, 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 or whatever, there is a crap ton, including literally tons of crap of old movies and TV shows for you to spelunk through. Like, pick the latest thing and there's at least 5 layers of knockoffs ready and waiting, which does work because people aren't always looking for some marquee movie or water cooler show. Sometimes we're bored and we want something, anything to watch. And with Apple TV Plus, once you've binged Severance, there's no hundreds of episodes of 90s era comedies or 2000s era procedurals to satiate that bottomless content void in the pit of all of our attention spans. And Netflix could solve for that, or so the M&A pitch goes, but it's just never made any sense to me because Apple's never wanted TV Plus to be like Netflix. They've wanted it to be like HBO, the classic HBO, not whatever the hell Max has turned out to be, but a prestige platform where instead of high volume franchise fare and exploiting IP as tight pitch meetings, you get new, quirky, higher brow entertainment programming. Quality, not quantity. The best, not the most. And honestly, I have no idea how that's working out for them, what Apple's hit to miss ratio is compared to HBO at its height, or how much money it's burning rather than making, and for how long the brand equity building will make up for it or make it worth it at all. But it doesn't matter because Netflix just doesn't solve any existential problems for Apple. It's not even remotely like a Beats Play either, because regardless of whether any catalog content licensees would even transfer over in the event of a sale, or how much better the Netflix apps are than the barely functional cross-platform crimes that Amazon Prime keeps shipping, there's no high-value hardware brand to leverage. There's no Jimmy Iovine type deal maker that Apple's in desperate need of. There's no go-to-market gaps that need to be filled, and no shared cultural vibes that would aid in any way with an assimilation. Apple doesn't need Netflix, but Netflix may seriously need Apple because Netflix has a problem. It has a Spotify-style problem, specifically a dependence on a single low-margin product that pretty much everyone else is just giving away as a value add. And we saw something similar, if not quite as severe, in the early days of smartphones, where Palm and BlackBerry had to live and ultimately died by their smartphone businesses and only their smartphone businesses, while all of their competitors had these incredibly lucrative existing product lines that could feed and fund their smartphone businesses well into the future, like Microsoft with Windows and Office, or Samsung with appliances and pretty much everything else. Google with search and Apple with the Mac. You get the idea. And yes, Microsoft still managed to crash and burn with Windows Mobile and Windows Phone and take Nokia out in the fireball along with them. And that is proof positive that sometimes even massive amounts of ancillary money isn't enough, but it sure beats no other money. And that's where standalone content aggregators find themselves, just so damn always, only way, way worse. And yes, that's why they try to invest in original programming like Wednesday or Stranger Things, or buy it like Rogan or Call Her Daddy, maybe even the odd hardware experiment here or there, or regulatory complaint, sneaky or bold. But it's just really, really hard for your whole entire business to be razor thin margins against companies that can create massive amounts of additional value for multidimensional iPhone or entertainment and theme park empires. It's why so many traditional studios and networks are part of just full-on conglomerates now, like Sony Music, Sony Pictures, and Sony Electronics. And I could kind of see Samsung Netflix and Samsung Spotify gaining just a ton more buffer and runway from appliances and all the other revenue streams that the Samsung conglomerate would provide. But beyond just the rando clickbait headlines, I have way more trouble seeing how any of that would appeal to Apple in any way. And that's not even taking into account the advent of generative artificial intelligence, where, I mean, who knows, maybe in a few years, we'll be able to sit down and prompt, recreate the Star Wars prequels as if written by Lawrence Kasdan and directed by Irvin Kershner in the style of Empire Strikes Back. What does that even mean for the future? We already have generative art and stylized profile pics and text prompts that can write us almost anything. It's everywhere, and you can get in on the ground floor with Introduction to Neural Networking. It's on Brilliant.org. That's today's sponsor. And they basically make college-level courses available to you, to me, to everyone. It's just the most intuitive and engaging way to learn about algorithms and computer science, math and physics, quantum mechanics and game theory, and so much more, all in a visual, hands-on way with no pressure, no grades, just puzzles, almost games, that just when everything falls into place and you get it just exactly right, it is so incredibly satisfying. Brilliant has thousands of lessons just like these, with new exclusive content being added every month. So you never have to stop learning. You just have to start. And you can get started right now, today, for free. Just visit brilliant.org/Ritchie or click the link in the description. And the first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Just click the button on the screen or go to brilliant.org/Ritchie. Clicking on that button really helps out the channel, and so does hitting up this video where I talk about all the power that AI has and all the rewards and risks that exist in putting it into our very human hands. So just hit up that link, and I'll see you in the next video.